Welcome back. This is Mr. Hassan's Maths channel, and I'm now answering question number 2 from the sample assessment paper for the Edexcel IGCSE Mathematics A modular paper, which is got the code 4WM1H. This is a higher paper, and this question number 2 is all about fractions, and we have to subtract these two fractions and show that you get 2 and 10 over 21. So it goes without saying that we cannot just put this in our calculator and then write it down. Write the answer down because they already gave us the answer. So this is actually intended as a non-calculator question where you have to show exactly the steps very clearly of how you subtract two fractions. Now, there are two methods we could use for subtracting these fractions. However, I would highly recommend that you follow the method that I'll teach you because it causes less confusion. So the method that I would use is I would change both of these fractions into improper fractions first, and then I would subtract them after making the denominators the same. So the first thing I would do, I'll say 5 1/3 is equal to, and now most of us have memorized to change a mixed number to an improper fraction. We multiply the numerator, the whole number with the denominator, and then add the numerator. So 3 times 5 plus 1, that's 15 plus 1, which is 16 over 3, minus 7 times 2, 14, 14 plus 6, 20, 20 over 7. Okay, so that's going to equal. Now, just to give you some reasoning behind this, okay, because well, we can think of this, we can think of a mixed number as being, originally, this is like 5 plus 1/3. That's what originally it was, but we don't write the plus anymore. So it's 5 plus 1/3. And you want to express this as a mixed number. It's like you're going to think 5 is the same as 15. Sorry, 5 is the same as 15 over 3. Okay, because 15 divided by 3 is 5. Okay, and this plus 1 over 3, which gives you 16 over 3. It's kind of like you are splitting them into two things to add together, and you're making the denominators the same and adding them together. So 5 is the same as 15 over 3, plus 1 over 3 gives you 16 over 3. That's actually what we are doing here. Okay, but the easier way to think about it, the way that people memorize, 3 times 5 plus 1, 7 times 2 plus 6. But this is the reasoning behind it. This is the reasoning that we do it, because we basically are making the denominators the same. That's why we're doing 3 times 5 to make it the same denominator, and then add 1, then add this number. That's the maths behind why we've memorized what we do there. So now we have to make the denominator the same. I cannot subtract these because they are being compared to different things. This is like 16/3 and this is like 27ths. 16/3 minus 27ths, well, they're not really compared to the same thing. We have to compare them to the same denominator. So what we have to do is we have to think about a denominator which is common, which is like the lowest common multiple of these two. It can be any multiple, but the lowest common multiple would be the one which is going to give us less hassle in answering the question, smaller numbers. In this case, the lowest common multiple is what you get when you multiply them together. Because if you go through the timetable of 7, 14, 21, that's the number that 3 goes into. It doesn't go to 7, it doesn't go to 14. So we're going to put 21 here and 21 there. When you're trying to find the LCM, always start with the bigger number and go through its multiples to get to the LCM in the quickest way. And then we say to ourselves, okay, 3 has to become 21. Well, that's by multiplying it by 7. So I have to multiply the numerator also by 7 as well. So we have 16 times 7. Now you can use your calculator for that. That's fine, all right, for that particular calculation. But just to keep your mental maths up, 16 times 7, if you haven't memorized it, for example, you can do a nice little quick way of doing this. 10 and 6, that's 16. 7 times 10 is 70. 7 times 6 is 42. When I add these together, I'm going to get 7 times 16. Okay, that's 70 plus 42. That's going to be 70 plus 40 is 110, so it's 112. Minus, and you have to multiply this by 3 to give you 21. So you multiply this by 3, so 20 times 3 is 60. So we end up with 112 minus 60, that's going to give you, well, 112 minus 60, 110 minus 60 would be 50, so it's going to be 52 over 21. And now we have to write this as a mixed number. 21 goes into 52 2 times. Okay. You can think of it like this if you want to. 2 times. And what's remainder from 2 times 21 is 42. There's 10 remainder, so you have 10 over 21, which is exactly what we've shown here. Okay, so that's exactly what we have to show. We got the right answer, and that's how you deal with such a question. Right. So in the answer space, we write our final answer always. Oh, in fact, there's no answer space. It says show that. Okay, so that's fine. So there's the answer for question number 2. We have shown that, and what they're looking for is making the denominators the same. There are other methods, as we mentioned before, but this is by far the method which would be the more easy to deal with. Okay, so there's the answer for number 2. I hope that was clear. Other questions from this paper can be found in the playlist that will appear in the top right of the screen at the end of the video. Other questions dealing with fractions, arithmetic with fractions, can be found in the playlist over here, and the general arithmetic playlist for all the different IGCSE questions you'll find in this playlist. And you can subscribe to the channel by clicking on this link. Thank you for watching, and see you soon.